And I think the chapter on Nebraska is about a page and a half.
Yeah.
And that's where Warren went, hold on a second. What's like, why are we skipping over this period?
I'm trying to find something real. These new songs, they're different, but they're the only thing making sense to me right now. The only thing I can still believe in.
Then we'll get it. Whatever it takes.
Hi, I'm Alex from NME, and today I'm joined by the star of new Bruce Springsteen movie, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's Hollywood's brand new boss, Jeremy Allen White. How are we doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you, yeah.
So I've been in the NME archive, and so I thought we'd start maybe by taking a bit of a trip down memory lane, because I know you've been so immersed in Bruce, but you might not have seen some of these covers from sort of back in the day.
Oh, all right, yeah.
So this is definitely my favourite. It is, do you want to take a quick look there?
Oh, wow.
Bruce is the Word from 1978.
Oh, that's great.
My first thought is that in that Q&A the other night, he said he wasn't very handsome, but here's the evidence.
Yeah, no, he's very, very handsome. Yeah, he's messing about. That's right, yeah, really scraggly. He put on all this weight kind of right after this period of the film that, we see him in. It was right around Born in the USA. He made a point. He kind of started like lifting weights and all that, but in the 70s, yeah, he was wiry, but still tough, very handsome.
And then I've got another one, which I think is actually quite a good sort of conversation starting point for this film, which is Fooled in the USA from the 80s. I think it's 85 maybe.
Oh, wow.
A bit later. But what it does sort of tap into is this sort of idea of this misreading of that song, Born in the USA.
Yeah.
As
and
Bruce,
it's still, misunderstood. Yeah.
As Bruce is this kind of sort of flag-toting, jingoistic kind of like American, when it's the exact opposite of that.
Exactly.
And I think this film might be sort of the last stage in the deconstruction of that kind of idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of depth in Bruce's music and a lot of like misinterpretation. I've misinterpreted. We speak about Reason to Believe often. I'll talk to Bruce about that song and how I've sort of received it and interpreted it, and then he talks about his sort of,
You're completely wrong.
his writing, exactly. Yeah. But there's like there's an interesting conversation there. I mean, it's like any art, anything you do, if it's film, if it's TV, it's painting, book, whatever it is, music, once you give it away, it sort of is up for interpretation. So no matter how you mean something, it's out of your hands how it's received,
What did you tell him that you thought the song was about, and what did he say?
I think it's a common misconception, I think, that the last song is a song of hope, according to Bruce Springsteen. However, that is how I hear it. There's a verse speaking about a man who's left his wife, and she's walking to the end of this dirt road, sort of waiting for him to come back. And I see a tremendous amount of sort of romance in that, that waiting, and every day taking that walk and looking each way and wondering. But I suppose there's another way of looking like that. There's a desperation and a hopelessness in that act. What if they never do come back? I guess I just always hope they'll come back,
Tell me about the process of becoming Bruce. Was there an audition?
No. Scott and I got together about 2 months before I knew anything about this film. Scott Cooper, our director and writer, and it was just kind of a general hang, and I'd been a fan of his for a long time, his films, and we kind of just spoke about films we liked and actors we liked, and he's used some of my favorite actors in his films over the years, and so I just asked a lot of questions, really, and I said, I hope we can find something, and he said, I hope so too, but that was that. And then a couple months later, I was asked to listen to the album Nebraska, and I think I understood kind of what was going on.
It's quite hard to miss.
Yeah, and I gave him a call, and he said, I'd like you to play Bruce. Do you know anything about really the making of this record? And I said, I knew that he made it alone, which at the time was like a fairly radical thing to do.
Yeah.
These days, it's more common, to make a record, in your bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was kind of far out. But I didn't know anything about sort of his personal life during that time. I didn't know anything about the inspiration. All these things were new to me, and so I read the script, and then eventually read Warren's, book by the same title, and that was getting started. I mean, that was it was really just trying to learn as much as I could about this time in Bruce's life and prior. And I'm very lucky, you know, there's a tremendous amount of kind of footage and interviews, and I think especially in the last 10 years between Bruce's memoir and his one-man show, like he's become very forthcoming and honest about, you know, not only his childhood but specifically his relationship to his father and more about this period. But you know, the birth of Warren's book has always been really interesting to me because it really came from this place of, you know, Bruce's memoir and his recall is so incredible, and you get it's a long book and it's very detailed. And I think the chapter on Nebraska is about a page and a half. And that's where Warren went, hold on a second. Why are we skipping over this period? And that's when he began, you know, investigating.
Songwriting's a funny thing. And it's about searching for something. Something that's gonna give your life a little bit of meaning.
And I want to ask you about the Born to Run performance. Two things really. One, did you get to use the actual Bruce Telecaster? And two, your voice must have been torn to shreds by the end.
It was shredded. No, it's not the actual one, but a very, very good, you know,
someone took a chisel
copy. Exactly. But I did. I mean, I've spoken about this before, but you know, he recorded Nebraska on, I forget if it was in 1953 or 1954, a Gibson J200. And after our first meeting at Wembley, I got a call saying Bruce would like to send me something, and it was a 1955 Gibson J200. And I still have that guitar. That was a gift. That's what I learned to play on. So when I was recording all the stuff for Nebraska, the album, you know, in the house in Colts Neck, that was my guitar I learned that you see in the film, and that's the guitar I have at home. For Born to Run, and especially Born in the USA, shredded. I mean, those are very physical songs and very like difficult songs to perform.
How did it feel? Because there's a live audience in that scene, right? And you're playing in the scene. When you sort of step out on stage for the first time, dressed as Bruce Springsteen, that must be quite intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing, you know, like it is so often for an actor, you know, you have really great director in Scott Cooper and great department heads and crews and background actors, and everything is as real as it can possibly be. And then you realize most often, like, you're the pretender in this situation, you know? You know, for that piece, I felt a little bit of it, that, you know, there were other musicians on stage with me, but I remember really when I felt that, but also got carried away was, you know, at the Stone Pony, I was with the guys from Greta, I was with Jay Buchanan, I was with 300 background actors that actually filled the entirety of the Stone Pony because it's a smaller venue. They were all from like in and around Asbury Park. They were big Bruce fans. Bruce introduced me, so he got them really warm.
Oh, God.
And so everything is as real as can be, except for me. But because the environment was so true, it allowed me, you know, usually you have to use a lot of imagination to kind of get yourself there. And I remember specifically at the Stone Pony, it wasn't necessary. You know, I got so carried away with the crowd, with Jay, and being in that true environment where Bruce came up and Bruce continues to perform, you know.
You've obviously probably got to convince quite a lot of people that you can do this role, as with any film. But was there a moment where you sort of looked over at Bruce, maybe on the set or beforehand, and you thought, yeah, he approves now?
I mean, there was the first time I recorded Nebraska, I think, which was the first time I was really singing on set. That scene with Paul Walter Hauser is the first song that's kind of recorded for the record. I was passing Video Village. I knew Bruce was there that day, but I didn't want to see him on my way to set because I needed to stay in what I was doing, and he found me and he held me and he looked in my eyes and he gave me a hug after that recording, and that gave me a tremendous amount of confidence, I think, going forward and being able to finish the film. Yeah.
You did a bang-up job. Absolute
Thanks,
pleasure
man.
to watch the film and to
appreciate
interview you.
you.
So thanks so much for speaking to me.
Thank you.
Trying to find something real in all the noise.
You always do.